So, hello, my friends. I am presuming I'm good to go. So, thank you for joining me today. And I am very grateful to this wonderful team at Fireside, led by Fallon and her team, giving me this opportunity to share with you mindful moments. Incidentally, I have something coming out called Mindful Moments. If you want to get this. It has some quotes, but it's mainly for your own reflections and moods and insights and revelations. And I'm going to focus on material from my recent book, Meta Human, Total Meditation, and a forthcoming book called Abundance, The Inner Path to Wealth. But today is an introduction. So let me share with you what we're going to be doing every week with this great audience that I have now, this great opportunity. For the last 40 years, I've focused on reaching a critical mass of 1 billion people in collective consciousness for personal and social transformation so that we can all aspire to a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world. That's the mission I have for our nonprofit, Chopra Foundation, for the business ventures, including Chopra Global, personal and social transformation, reaching a billion people for a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world. And therefore, any opportunity I get to reach more people is something I'm grateful for. And I'm grateful for this platform. I hope it'll expand awareness and give people insight into the nature of fundamental reality and how they can reinvent their bodies, resurrect the soul, and heal themselves, and also help heal the world, because our world is very fractured right now with extreme polarization in media, in social networks, in the area of health, politics, you name it. We have a dangerous situation. Some people say 1 minute to midnight, meaning 1 minute to extinction. And that doesn't sound really good. Okay. But look at what's happening in the world right now: war, terrorism, climate change, pandemics, social and economic injustice, gender injustice, poison in the food chain, cyber hacking, nuclear weapons, on and on. It's totally insane. So we need mindful moments. And mindful moments will include the following: meditation, inquiry, inquiry into the nature of reality, self reflection, transcendence, mindful awareness of breath, mindful awareness of body, mindful awareness of the five senses, mindful awareness of mental space, mindful awareness of the web of relationship, mindful awareness of the universe and all that it means, and ultimately, awareness of awareness and freedom from suffering. These are the promises of the spiritual path. So many people today say, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. What does that mean? Or many people today say, I don't know what spirituality is. So, in one phrase, spirituality can be defined as self awareness, period. Self awareness is spirituality. The self is your innermost being. Uh, Whenever we use the word I, that is what actually we are fundamentally referring to. I am. I am Deepak Chopra. I'm an author. I'm a parent. I'm also a son. I'm a doctor. But before I put on these labels, I am. So, what is that I am? That modifies itself into every experience that we have. Every experience that we have is through I am But I am, unfortunately, today has become the conditioned mind. As soon as you give me a name, Deepak Chopra, then all these labels, definitions, judgments, evaluations come in. What is I am before I am Deepak Chopra? It's my destiny to play an infinity of roles, but I am not the roles I play. This is the most important thing, we can learn from all these practices that we label loosely as meditation. There are thousands of them, and we'll reflect and pursue them uh, as the mood takes us every week. Everything has to be easy. So, in my pursuit of helping people find their inner joy, I say the four most important things for you right now is, are you deeply rested? Number one. Number two, are you having good sleep? Number three, are you experiencing a joyful, energetic body, a loving, compassionate heart, a clear, reflective, quiet mind, and lightness of being? In other words, if you are rested, you've slept well, are you in a joyful mood right now? And are you ready to play? That is what the Eastern wisdom traditions say. When we cut the veil of ignorance, the veil of magical lies that imprisons us, identifying with our stories and then getting confined in our identity with a label, then we restrict our awareness, and we forget to play. Right now, who is actually asking themselves, what's the purpose of existence? I walk along the streets of New York and I look around, and this is not condescending, but everybody seems to be functioning as a biological robot. Biological robot means constantly being triggered by people and circumstance into predictable outcomes. So you press a button and you get this reaction. You press another button, you get that reaction. If somebody flatters you, you're happy. If somebody criticizes you, you could get offended for the rest of your life. So there's no difference between that and a biological robot or an algorithm. As we go beyond the divided, conditioned mind, and I said our mind is divided by history, by religion, by economics, by gender, by our parents, by nationality, by race, by religion, by ethnicity, and on and on and on. So we are bound by our experiences, and we think we are our experiences, and we forget who we are. So beyond the ego mind is something called the true self, and every spiritual tradition has identified it. And the words commonly used for the true self have been in the past soul. We all have a soul, presumably, and it's part of a bigger universal consciousness, spirit, and that's connected to what we call divinity, God, the absolute, and the ultimate supreme being. And all of those things are actually true, but they're not part of our current scientific secular vocabulary. So today, neuroscientists, when they refer to this deepest aspect of ourselves, they say conscious agent. Doesn't matter what we call it, conscious agent. We are conscious agents, but we've just forgotten that. And meditation, with all its techniques that I just mentioned, mindfulness, awareness of these different aspects of our body mind, and the experience of the body mind in the universe and the world, is ultimately a modification of our true self. So, today, what I'd like to do is actually give you just a little bit of introduction on body, mind, and spirit, because nobody really defines these terms, even though everybody talks about these terms. And then, once we have defined body, mind, and spirit, connect that to our experience of what we call the world, and then do a short reflection today. And that will be all I'll do today. And we'll cover this material in the next 10, 15 minutes. And then every week, depending on your feedback and your questions, I will expand on these themes. If that sounds good to you, then just send me whatever. He'll say yes or whatever. Okay, if that sounds good. Looks like that sounds good. Okay, so let's start with different aspects of our identity. The first thing that we identify with every day when we wake up in the morning is our physical body. So, what is the physical body? Is our physical body who we are? And this is a big question. Okay. But most people think they are their physical body. How do we know we have a physical body? We perceive it. And how do we perceive it? Through the five senses. In the same way that we perceive a book or a watch, we perceive our body. Same way. So the body is an intermittent perceptual experience, our own and that of others. And so what we call our body begins as a fertilized egg when your father and mother looked at each other with a gleam in their eyes and something happened and you became a fertilized egg. That was your body. Then it became a zygote, then it became an embryo, then it became a baby, then it became a toddler, then it became a young adult, teenager, adult, mature adult, older adult, all the way to dusty death. So, very clear that if you say, I have a body, then which one do you mean? Which one do you mean? You've had so many bodies, but the sense I am has remained all throughout. You had the body of a baby, an embryo. You've forgotten most of the experiences, but you were there. I am was there in the changing experience of a body, which we recognize as a perceptual activity. And perceptions are modified forms of awareness. Awareness knows itself and what we call the other by modifying itself as a perception, giving meaning to it. And one meaning we give to it is, I have a body. But it would be more accurate to say, I am having the experience, perceptual experience of a changing activity, which we call the body. Okay, so that's the physical body. The second component of the physical body is the energy component of the body, what we call biological energy, vital energy. Without that, the body wouldn't be able to move. I wouldn't be able to move my hands. I wouldn't be able to speak. I wouldn't be able to hear and taste or smell. All that requires some kind of movement, perceptual activity, cognitive activity in order to experience our body. So the body is made of matter and energy. In the Eastern wisdom traditions, this is called Annamaya Kosha and Pranamaya Kosha. Anna means food. The body is derived from food and it has prana, vital energy. And both of them are shifting patterns of experience in awareness. So that's the physical body. But then we have something called the subtle body. In the Eastern wisdom traditions, that's called mind, intellect, and ego. So mind is where we experience emotions and feelings. Intellect is where we learn to discern, we learn to reflect, we learn the nature of inquiry. And ego is our changing personality. So, subtle body, mind, intellect, and ego are also activities of our awareness. Awareness knows itself as the mental body, one's own mental body, mind, intellect, ego. But by looking at another person, you can also guess that they also have a mind, intellect, and ego because everything that happens in their awareness is reflected in their body. You look at somebody's eyes and you can see if they're telling the truth or not telling the truth. Are they shifty? Are they nervous? Etc. etc. You look at facial expressions, micro expressions, hear the tone of voice, look at body language, And you can see that it is reflecting the mind, intellect, and ego. That's the second aspect of our existence as a body mind apparatus. Then there's a third aspect, which is so the second aspect is called the subtle body. Sthula Sharir is the physical body, Sukshma means subtle, Sharir is the subtle body, and then there's something called the causal body. Traditional wisdom traditions say the individual soul, the unconditioned soul, and then the universal spirit or God or divinity. It's also referred to as the body of bliss, the soul body, which is the conditioned mind and where it comes from. Our past experiences, our identification with past experiences, our stories, internal stories, good and bad. Eastern wisdom traditions also call this karma. And so, karma is the interpretation of past stories. If you close your eyes right now and do nothing, you will hear a conversation. And that conversation is something you're having with yourself. It's a great mystery. Why is someone seemingly here having a conversation with themselves all the time? Who is this entity? We'll figure this out. But one thing we can say is that which we call our internal dialogue or this conversation we are having with ourselves, whoever this person is, she, it never shuts up. This conversation is going on all the time. It goes on in right now as you're listening to me or watching me. It goes on in your sleep. It goes on in your dreams and sleep. Also, deep sleep, subtle conversation awareness is there. So this internal dialogue that we are having, this conversation, we call it thoughts, but there's also feelings. There are also images. There are reflections. This is in Eastern wisdom traditions called karma, which leads to memory, which leads to imagination. And in fact, they're all the same thing. Karma is the reconstruction of memory, which is in imagination. So we don't actually have a memory, we retrieve memories and we reconstruct experiences. And that is what we call memory, but it's the same thing as imagination, and that's reflected as our physical body. So if you close your eyes right now and do nothing, you'll hear this conversation. And if the conversation you're having with yourself is a happy one, you'll feel some kind of pleasurable sensations. If it's unhappy, then you'll feel some kind of uncomfortable sensations. And that's called the karmic body in this universe, in this planet Earth, which is called Karma Bhumi, where our collective karma is now showing up as climate change and war and terrorism and economic and social injustice and all the things that are wrong. That's our collective projection in consciousness. And we made a mess of it, but we can, as I said, reinvent everything when we know the nature of the true self, which is beyond all these stories. Okay, so the subtle body is soul, unconditioned soul, and universal consciousness or non local self. And with that, I want to just share with you, in the interest of time, which also is a human construct, but we'll talk about that later. 4 or 5 qualities of the true self when we go beyond all these layers: physical body, mental body, causal body, and we go to the source of everything, which is the ultimate purpose of meditation. We find many characteristics of this true self, and I'd like to introduce them to you today, and then we'll explore these. It'll be a great adventure. I'm going to hopefully soon call this Meta Human Adventures in the Metaverse. If you like that idea, please say yes to me so I can think about it. You like it? Meta Human Adventures in the Metaverse. That's the goal ultimately, to create space for that right here with you. So here are the characteristics to the source of all experience. When I say source of all experience, I mean source of thought, source of feeling, source of emotion, source of imagination, source of creativity, source of insight, intuition, higher vision, transcendence. What is that fundamental source that gives us all experience? And let's call it the true self. And it has the following characteristics, and we'll call it I am. So, I am is a field of infinite possibilities. When I say infinite possibilities, I mean infinite possibilities. Therefore, I am also the source of infinite creativity. For every creative impulse you have, there are infinite more available. For every creative thought you have, infinite more available. So I am is infinite possibilities, infinite creativity, infinite self-regulation. It's I am is regulating your body right now. Blood pressure, everything. Blood pressure, heart rate variability, immune function, endocrine function, all of that. So I am is self-regulating, self-organizing, self-evolving, self-correcting, like a cybernetic feedback loop system. I am also is infinite synchronicity. Everything is inseparable from everything else. I am is unpredictable, thank God, because without unpredictability, there would be no creativity. And I am is the source of attention and intention. For now, that's good enough. Okay. Infinite possibilities, infinite creativity, self organization, self regulation, homeostasis, healing, insight, intuition, imagination, ultimate creativity, cosmic creativity, transcendence, source of attention and intention. This is the deeper understanding of I am. And this is also the religious or spiritual experience of self awareness. When we compare all the religions and see what is the essential experience, you'll find three things: finding your true identity beyond space, time, and causality, number one; the emergence of Platonic truth or values like truth, goodness, beauty, harmony, love, compassion, joy, equanimity; and ultimately the loss of the fear of death, because I am is formless, irreducible, infinite, and without cause, not in space time. Now imagine if you could find your true identity as the creator of experience, number one. Number two, always grounded in truth, goodness, beauty, harmony, love, compassion, joy, equanimity, and you lost the fear of death. Well, then you would be the creator of your reality. So, with that, let's do our first little reflection and first little meditation. So, wherever you are, sit quietly and keep your hands open on your lap, uncross your legs, and close your eyes. And first, even before we begin, smile from your head to your toes. So let your head smile, let your hair smile, then let your forehead smile, your face smile, okay, uh, your eyes smile, your neck smile, your heart smile, your abdomen smile, let your genitalia smile, let your limbs smile, let your hair follicles smile, and you'll instantly feel a slight shift in mood. Smile from your head to your toes. Every part of your body is now smiling. And now, with your eyes closed, observe your breath. And this is the first mindfulness meditation of the Buddha. As you observe the breath, he realized that breath, like every experience, is a sensation. And we don't really breathe, we are being breathed. It's happening by itself. Just like everything in your body is right now happening by itself. And we can't hold on to the sensation, because if we do, we'll suffocate. So that's true of every experience. You can't hold on to it. This is what the Buddha realized, observing just the breath. He said, if I hold on to my breath, I will suffocate. If I hold on to any experience, I will suffocate. From this comes the phrase, let go and flow. So right now, please let go and flow. And now bring your awareness to your heart, right here in the middle of your chest. And keeping your awareness in your heart, ask yourself the following question: who am I? What am I? Don't try to answer the question. Just be aware of any sensations, any images, any feelings, any thoughts that may come to you spontaneously. Who am I? What am I? We'll go deeper into this in future sessions because who you are is beyond your imagination. It's absolutely magnificent. But right now, ask that question, let go. And now ask the following question: what do I want? What is my deepest desire? Again, don't try to answer that. Just be aware of any sensations, any images, any feelings, any thoughts that may spontaneously arise or not arise. What do I want? Third question: what am I grateful for? Gratitude opens the door to what we call abundance consciousness. I told you I'm doing a new book. It's called Abundance, the Inner Path to Wealth. It opens with gratitude. And finally, ask yourself, what is my calling? What is my purpose? If I had all the money and all the time in the world, how would I express myself? Okay, so these are 4 reflections for you for the whole week. Who am I? What do I want? Um, what is my purpose? What is my calling? And what am I grateful for? If we can spend this next week every day, 5 minutes with these questions, living the questions, not trying to find the answers, you'll find something very extraordinary. Life will move you into the answers. Live the questions. These are the most 4 important questions of our existence. Who am I? What do I want? What's my purpose? What am I grateful for? Live the questions, and life will move you into the answers through synchronicity, through an insight, through an epiphany, through a relationship, through an encounter. Bottom line, the self will organize the fulfillment of your desires and your reflections and your questions. So, this coming week, that's it. 4 questions to reflect on whenever you have the time. Take a few moments, stop, observe your breath, smile from head to toe, reflect on 4 questions. And next week, we go deeper and deeper and deeper so we can embark ultimately as meta-humans in the metaverse and collectively enjoy meta-human adventures beyond the seas of inner space, beyond the dark alleys and the ghost-filled attics and the secret passages of our minds is a domain of infinite possibilities, infinite adventures that even Homer never dreamed of, or even the sages never dreamed of. Onward, together, meta human adventures and metaverses together in the direction of a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world. So I'm going to stop here. Fallon, please take over and say what I need to do. Angie, please know that we can post this on other social networks as well.
Hi, Deepak. It's Angie. And at this point, you could potentially take a couple of questions if
Okay.
you have time.
So let's do 3 questions, okay? And who's going to monitor that?
Um,
Accept
I'm
request.
looking for the
So
questions now. So,
I accepted a request from somebody called Victoria. Victoria, please go ahead.
Good morning. It
I
is an absolute joy, honor, privilege to meet you. I have been listening to several of your mantras your meditations over the years. 2 of my favorites is the one you created with Oprah Winfrey about gratitude, and the one that you also have about abundance. And at the end of the meditation, you give us a mantra at the beginning of the meditation. And then at the end of the meditation, you say, release the mantra.
right.
And I never quite understood what that meant.
Okay, so let me answer your question very quickly because then
Okay.
I'll answer the next question. The word mantra means instrument of the mind. Man means mind. Human, woman, mental, man. Tra, instrument of the mind that takes us beyond the mind. And so when I say release the mantra, it means let it go and just rest in the awareness and the presence of your own being, which is the ultimate reality. So the mantra is like taking a taxi. Once you get to your destination, you don't need the taxi or Uber or whatever. Okay, so that's the short answer, and we'll go into deeper details. And now I'm accepting a request from Will Hale. So go ahead, Will.
Yeah, I've heard you share methods about rhythmic breathing and feeling your heartbeat and breathing rhythmically with our heartbeat. I'm just curious if you'll be sharing other methods, including feeling our physical heartbeat, or maybe the concept of heartfulness in alignment with mindfulness. Actually, the physical
I
heart.
will.
Thank you.
I will. One of the practices in the eight limbs of yoga is called pratyahara. Pratyahara means withdrawal of the senses, but you don't actually withdraw the senses. You only withdraw them from the outside world. You direct them inside. So that's what pratyahara is called. And today we also have a medical term for it. It's called interoception. Instead of perception, knowing what's happening in the body. So I will remind myself, and Angie will remind me as well, to share with you techniques for regulating your heartbeat, lowering your blood pressure, but ultimately regulating your body, bioregulation, which you can then also instantly see on your Fitbit or Aura or whatever device you have. You'll be able to see can I regulate my heartbeat, my blood pressure, ultimately everything, immune system, and so on. So thank you for reminding me, and we'll do that. And breathing, of course, is very important component of it. There are 100 uh, plus breathing techniques, actually thousands. We'll focus on those that help enhance life. I'm also doing something right now with our Chopra Foundation research called the Longevity Project, how we can extend our lifespan, our health span. And so that will be part of the Longevity Project as well. So thank you for asking that question. Is there another question? And then we'll wrap it up. Any more questions? Anyone have a question?
I didn't see any more. We have a lot of really great responses, and it looks like a lot of people have really enjoyed this first talk. So we'll
Okay,
get
so
more
next
questions
time
next.
we'll go a little bit beyond these four questions and we'll keep going. Remember, we have many aspects of meditation to discover: focused awareness, mindfulness of all the domains of experience, reflection, inquiry, transcendence, much, much more. Meta human adventures for meta humans in the metaverse, which will spontaneously be born right here in this community. Thank you very much. And all of you have a wonderful day. And Angie, thanks for being here as well and helping spread the word. And thank you, Fallon, for giving us this opportunity. Take care. Have a wonderful day, guys.